there, ghouls and gals, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, hi, my name is Hillary, and if you guys are coming back, welcome back. Since in my last video we decided to go with the Villisca axe murders, I thought we would follow up with another axe themed video. So tonight we are going to be covering Lizzie Borden, as well as some of the ghosts that still haunt the Borden house. You may recognize Lizzie Borden's name from a nursery rhyme that was sung. I knew it when I was a kid. I don't know if all of you knew it, so maybe I should sing it for you guys so you know what it is. Lizzie Borden took an axe, she gave her mother 40 whacks, and when she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. This murder took place in Fall River, Massachusetts, and the person who was highly publicized was Lizzie Borden, and she was the one who went to trial for murdering her father and her stepmother. This all took place August 4th, 1892. Now, Emma and Lizzie's mother died when they were young, so their father remarried a lady named Abby. And Abby was their new stepmother, and it got to the point where Lizzie did not like her stepmother. She didn't get along with her, and she would refer to her as Mrs. Borden. And as well as that, they also thought that Abby only married their father for the money because he was very wealthy. He was pretty affluent in that time. It's also said that Lizzie and Emma's father, Andrew, was a bit of a penny pincher. So regardless of him being very wealthy, he never really spent a lot of his money. He just hoarded it all. So these are the people that I'm going to go over that were in the house at the time. So obviously there was Andrew and Abby Borden, who were the parents. There was Lizzie, and her sister Emma also lived there, although she was not there during the murders. She had left to go help a friend who was sick. There was Bridget Sullivan, who they called Maggie, and there was John Morse, who was Lizzie and Emma's uncle on their mother's side. So he was not related to Andrew, but he was their mother's brother. So let's get into the story. John Morris arrived on August 3rd at the Borden house and stayed over. I guess he was having a visit and he stayed up in the guest room and then came down for breakfast the next morning. And at breakfast in the morning, Lizzie, Abby, Andrew, and John were all present, as well as the maid Bridget, or Maggie. Now I want to get into, they called her Maggie because they had a previous maid named Maggie who they liked and they were okay with her, and they, instead of calling her Bridget, they just decided, you're Maggie now. You're the new Maggie. So after breakfast, Andrew and John went into the sitting room to go chat. They were just catching up until John decided he had to leave to go into town to, I guess, buy some oxen or something like that. So he left at about 8:45, and he said he was not going to be back until lunchtime, noon sharp. Right after John left to go buy his oxen or whatever he was going to go do in Fall River, Andrew decided he's going to go for his morning walk. So at about 9 o'clock in the morning, Andrew left to go on a walk. So he left the house. And then after Andrew left, Abby decided that she was going to go upstairs that day and make the guest room bed. So she went up into the guest room about 9 o'clock to 10 to go make the bed upstairs that John had just been sleeping. I'm not really sure where Bridget and Lizzie were at this time. I'm supposing that maybe they were outside or just around the house, because no one seemed to hear Abby get murdered. Abby was upstairs, and this is the point where she got murdered. So according to forensics at the time, Abby was murdered while she was upstairs making the bed, and she was actually facing her killer. Her killer swung once and hit her in the side of the head. She moved, so obviously she must have known who it was. There was no screaming. I don't think she was expecting what happened, because the axe met her in the side of the head, to which she, I guess, fell down, and then she was hit 17 more times in the back of her skull, cracking it open and killing her on the floor. Which, if I'm whacking somebody in the face or the back of the head 17 times, usually that's a crime of passion. That's somebody that is angry at the person or knows somebody or knows them. That's why they're hitting them so much, because she was dead after the first hit, maybe the second. You didn't need to go 17 times, but whoever did. Now these timelines are getting really close, because Andrew then returned home at about 10:30 a.m. and he tried to use his key on the door. It didn't work, and the maid had to let him in. It's said that she heard Lizzie laughing, and she said she did not see her, but she heard her from upstairs. Now, this is a big thing because if Bridget heard Lizzie upstairs laughing, at this time, Abby Borden was already dead, and it would have been impossible not to see Abby just laying on the floor. Because the way that the bedrooms are, you can see you're coming right upstairs, immediately you see the room that Abby was in, and she was laying down on the floor in her own pool of blood. So if Lizzie was upstairs, she should have seen Abby. Lizzie later denied that she was even upstairs, and she said that she had gotten a messenger had shown up and said that Abby was supposed to go tend to a sick friend, and that's where she thought she was. She also said that when her father came in, she helped him remove his boots and took him to the couch to go take a nap, which was a little weird because during all the investigation of the body, of Andrew's body laying on the couch, he was still wearing his shoes. So already, that's a lie. You're lying. Lizzie then told Bridget that there was some sort of sale in town that she needed to go to, but Bridget was not feeling well that day, so she decided to go back upstairs and take a nap in her room. Bridget testified that she was in her room on the 3rd floor of the house resting when she heard at about 11:10 Lizzie shout from the basement, "Bridget, come quick," or sorry, Maggie, come quick. Father's dead. Someone must have come in and killed him. Which, quick, like, in the middle of this, from where you are in the house, how many times Andrew was hit, I don't know how this maid did not hear anything. Because I've seen people investigate that house, I've seen them in the room, and I've seen them downstairs making noises, and you can hear banging. So, I don't know what you think is going on. Like, you expect me to believe that you heard nothing, Maggie? Maggie? Bridget? Maggie? So Andrew was downstairs on the couch where he was taking a nap, and he had been hit 10 to 11 times with a hatchet-like weapon. It said that he was sleeping, so he didn't even, he was just resting when he got hit. And he was hit with the force that his eye got clean sliced in half. It was hanging off of his face. Major blood force trauma. Like, all of this was murked. It was messed up. He was still bleeding when they came down, suggesting that that attack was very, very recent, and investigators say that he probably died at about 11 o'clock. Now, this is originally what Lizzie Borden said to police. She changed her story like 3-4 times. She changed it multiple times, so like, that's guilt. Like, I don't know. Obviously, there's not enough evidence for me to be like, you done it, but like, she did it. Initially, she said that she was outside and she heard a groaning or a scraping, and she came inside to investigate, to where she found her father laying dead. Next time, she said she came into the house not realizing anything. She didn't hear any sound. She just came in, asked where her stepmother was, and I guess her father was dead at that time too. She also said that she thought that Abby had come home and she heard her go upstairs. So like, her father at this point is dead on the couch, and she tells dear old Bridget that, I think Ma came back home and she's upstairs. Could you go check and see if she's there? Which, your dad's dead. He's dead. Like, what? That's your reaction? That's how I think she's upstairs. Weird. So police said while they were interviewing her, they did not like Lizzie's disposition. She was very calm for her stepmother and her father just being hacked to death and like in a bloody pool of mess and gore. And as well, there was only really 2 reasons that Lizzie got off, and one of the reasons was because all the evidence was circumstantial around her, and the second was because she was a woman. So a woman could not possibly have hacked up a man or someone else. She could not possibly have done murder because women are too fragile. It's also said that Lizzie, this is like a big thing where they think that Bridget and Lizzie were in it together, because Lizzie had changed dresses sometime in between all of this happening and threw one in the fire to burn because there was a stain on it, she said. So she set one of her dresses on fire, and she was changed into a brand new dress by the time the cops came. Now, after all this, obviously Emma and Lizzie became very, very wealthy. They were now heiresses, and they sold their house, bought a new house, and they did not live frivolously after this. They spent a lot of their father's money, and they lived pretty well all the way up until 1927 when she passed away. Now, here are some of the ghost things that have happened at the Borden house, one of which is Andrew Borden. They usually leave pennies for him because he was a penny pincher. It's said if you take any of his change or his money, he will obviously bug you for the entire night you stay there, because now it is a bed and breakfast. There was actually a Ouija board that was stolen from the house that was later mailed back to the house because it supposedly is cursed, like it cursed the people that had it, and they sent it back to the house and didn't want anything to do with it. There's a lot of banging and shapes that you can see throughout the house. You can, cupboards, like it's kind of poltergeist activity, and there's a lot of different things that have come up. There's been EVPs that one of them specifically said that it was actually John Morse that killed Abby. Now, that's not so hard to believe because he was supposed to be gone until 12 o'clock, and he was Lizzie and Emma's mother's brother. So he may not have liked Abby, and he may have not liked Andrew, and he thought, why not come back and kill him? As well, he was a butcher, so he would know his way around blood. So not only is this a cold case and nobody ever had to go to prison for these murders, but also it is very highly active in ghosts, because it's said that Lizzie still haunts there, her sister. It's said that they all still haunt that one location, and I think it'd be a pretty cool place to go check out. You guys need to decide if you think it's haunted, or even who do you think killed? Do you think it was Bridget? Do you think it was Lizzie? Do you think it was John Morse? Who do you think was the killer? I would love to know. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Feel free to give me a like or subscribe and comment. I love reading comments. Thanks everybody, and bye. See you next time.